Good morning, and welcome back to our Viva session. This is the week 23 or 22 Viva. This week's Viva question is, what was Marcus Aurelius's legacy? Marcus Aurelius's career was pretty much a failure, and his death marked the end of the Pax Romana. Although his political impact was pretty much negative, his real legacy was left behind in his philosophy and writings, which remain both popular and influential to this day. Marcus Aurelius's most important legacy is his contribution to philosophy, and these include his ideas about living the good life, the pursuit of justice, and the purpose of piety. So let's get into it. First off, Marcus Aurelius teaches us to live the good life. This, according to him, was living stoically, living without impressions, and living according to nature. Stoicism, as we understand it today, is about being stern and not moving when you get hit with stuff, but it had a different connotation and meaning back then. It was more about loving the world the way it is and not the way you want it to be. According to Stoicism, there is a natural pattern that repeats over and over. Living a natural life meant enjoying the life that you were allowed to live. You had one life, so they were like, okay, well, prolonging it is pointless because the pattern just repeats over and over, so enjoy the life that you get to live. Marcus Aurelius said, quote, "What really makes us happy? We need to seek out the things that naturally make us better. That is what human nature really asks for, or aches for. Nothing will really accomplish our goals except for being just, temperate, courageous, and free," unquote. Living the good life would be accomplishing what human nature seeks and accepting the world at its core. The Stoic understands pain and pleasure to be neither good nor evil and understands them to be signals rather than an end. Another Stoic idea is that we develop impressions of the world around us and of the people in it. Stoics believe in rejecting these impressions. We do this by breaking things down into their individual parts. The goal is to regard each of these things at its true value by considering its contribution to the whole world. Everything helps contribute to the natural order of the world. Living in accordance with this natural order results in an indifference to the events in life because nature's ways are superior to personal need, and resistance to the national order of things will only bring harm. Secondly, Marcus Aurelius argues that just actions are derived from thinking in terms of the collective rather than the individual. Marcus Aurelius teaches that we should be only concerned with living out our lot in life and being content and acting justly. By this, he means acting communally as a member of a cosmic city, so that what benefits one might benefit all, and what might be advantageous to one is advantageous to all. He recommends making one's impulses conditional as to what most likely will happen despite your impulse. So, say, the example used in the lecture was that if you're giving food or money to a homeless person, you should first consider whether or not they will actually be benefited from that, if it actually will change anything. Marcus denies that there is any conflict between the good of the individual and the good of the community. And again, according to Marcus Aurelius, he said that, quote, "Rational nature does well when it directs impulses to communal action. We must do what follows from our constitution, and the communal faculty plays the leading part in the human constitution," unquote. Our final point is that Marcus Aurelius argues for the importance of piety. Roman piety was rooted in the idea of community-mindedness and in the Stoic context was noted in faith in a providence. They sought piety through learning from others, and Marcus Aurelius also contrasts naturalism versus providence in his pursuit and understanding of piety. So those are the points we're going to look at briefly. Marcus learned virtue, determination, and purpose from his father. He learned to do his own work, read attentively, and compliment others from his peers and teachers. To quote Proverbs 11:14, quote, "For lack of guidance a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors, unquote. So this is just emphasizing the points that learning was, they thought, connected to piety, and so they sought it in whatever way they could. The key idea in piety is that the cosmos were designed providentially and are as good as they're going to get. Because of this, we should therefore accept whatever happens in the world, and we should see nature as the ultimate patron. The world is either the design of a providential God or is the random collection of atoms formed by chance. Marcus argues that viewing the world as a providentially designed world will push away impiety and should generally benefit your piety. So in conclusion, although Marcus Aurelius was a fairly unsuccessful political leader, the only thing that remains from his ruling reign, is his philosophy. Marcus Aurelius made his most important contribution with his ideas about living the good life, pursuing justice, and the pursuit of piety, and they continue to influence us today. Thank you.